We're going to talk about protective grounds, your temporary protective grounds. These are to be considered a best friend. We're going to talk about two best friends here today. Your TPGs are one of your best friends. So we got to take care of these things. Protective grounds, we're going to just look at this real quick. Protective grounding, equipment shall be capable of conducting the maximum fault current that could flow at the point of grounding for the time necessary to clear the fault. This is at a 1910.269. This is going to be the lowercase n. Lowercase n is all about your TPGs, all right? So remember that. And it's good to review these together as a group, as a team. Protective grounds shall have an impedance low enough that they do not delay the operation of protected devices in case of accidental energizing of the line or equipment. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about your TPGs and your a best friend, and we're going to go to our grounds tester to do that. When you go to that lowercase n, you go to number 4, and you go to the lowercase I, triple I. It talks about how the ASTM F855 and the IEEE 1048, it talks about how they are guidelines to the regulations. So we're going to talk about those guidelines. And in those guidelines, it talks about mechanical inspection. It talks about visual inspection. So we're going to go over that. And it also talks about electrical inspection, which we're going to finalize with that right there. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our TPGs, temporary protective grounds, which this happens to be a Bierer Meters cable that we make, and our clamps, our ferrules. Beautiful. This is a 1/0, 10 feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to visually inspect. When we visually inspect, we're going to verify that there's no smashed cable or crimped cable. If you can see your strands, we do not want to see any blackened strands, patinaed strands, or broken strands of cable. Some of you may have some clear jacket on your cables. And if you have a clear jacket, inspect those strands inside that clear jacket. You also don't want to see any oxidization on your components, especially the contact points right there where that clamp's going to go onto that conductor, especially the contact points. You don't want to see any obvious loose parts nor any cracks in your clamps. So verify that. You don't want to see any bubble jacket either. I have never seen the bubble jacket, but I have seen everything else. Loose components, broken strands, blackened copper, bent components, and I've seen a lot of the oxidization on the contact points. And that's all those things add to resistance. They add to thermal activity. They add to the fact that, guess what? Their TPGs aren't going to perform as well. And typically, if you start seeing these items, as far as the things you don't want to see, these are where they're going to fail the electrical test. So train your linemen to do the mechanical, to do the visual, and you all are responsible for the electrical test. They don't give us, the guidelines do not give us how often we need to perform the electrical test. I don't understand that, but we recommend every 12 months. 24 months, some folks do, too long. 6 months, if you're training your line workers to perform the mechanical and visual, 6 months is too often. It's a waste of resource. Train them to visually inspect. Train them to mechanically inspect. And you don't have to do the 6 months. As long as they know what they're looking for, save some money, but train them. All right, some utilities, some contractors, believe it or not, to this day, they do not train their linemen the visual, the mechanical, and check this out. I don't understand this, but some do not perform the electrical test on their TPGs. Don't understand. We're supposed to verify that those two TPGs are going to perform if there's a fault current. How do you verify that you're sure for sure, as an employer, that those TPGs are good? How do you do that unless you perform the electrical test? I don't know. If you all have the answer, please tell me. All right? That'd be great. So what we're going to do is the mechanical test, you want to go ahead and grab a hold of your TPGs. You want to grab a hold of that clamp and make sure that that clamp does not spin off your ferrule. Make sure if it's a plug ferrule, make sure that plug is nice and tight in those U-joints. U-joints, I think that's a car thing. But in the U-clamps, okay? So make sure they're nice and tight. I've performed electrical testing on TPGs, and they have barely failed. And the visual, they pass. But the mechanical, the clamps spin right off of the ferrule. What the heck, huh? And all we did is get a wrench, tighten it up, retest electrically, and guess what? They pass. It's like magic. All right, so we're going to perform electrical test. And what we're going to do is this 1/0 cable, 10 feet, it requires 250 amps. So Bierer Meters, my dad, Walter Bierer, he came out with the grounds tester. This is his very first tool. Back in 1987, he came out. And when he made this tool, just like the rest of our tools, he developed a tool that was the best of the best. And this tool puts out continuous current. Everyone else is chasing us, trying to emulate and try to copy. Most of them are glorified ohms meters, but they're trying to get that continuous current. Well, Walter, he did that a long time ago, all right, back in 1987. So here we go. We're going to go ahead. It requires 250 amps. We're going to put right here on the continuous current meter, we're going to put 250 amps, and we're going to run these in parallel. This mitigates the magnetic field, and this also represents how you're going to use these out in the field. You're going to go from point A to point B when you set up your EPZ, equal potential zone, to help protect you all when you're working. So this emulates that, it copies that, and we're going to get rid of any magnetic field. So we're going to go up to right here, 250, and I can feel the current in my hand right now. And it's a little exciting. Maybe you travel and been away from home for a while, all right? And this gets kind of exciting when you feel that current. So we got a 0.27. It requires a 0.38 or lower voltage drop. These pass pretty well too. So it's going to pick up some voltage drop, which is your resistance, just because that's how things work, right? So I want to show you. So these pass. The test is over. So what you're going to do is you're going to undo the clamps, and you're going to put a date stamp. And that date stamp, the line worker, when they perform their visual inspection, they're going to verify at that date stamp that's on your TPGs that it's in the protocol of when they test, let's say every 12 months. Maybe they're out on a storm, out on restoration, and they got skipped. So this allows them to verify that they're within those 12 months. All right? It's very important, date stamp. We recommend also, you have some folks that do these tools or do the testing on your TPGs. Maybe it's an outside source. Make sure they're using a really good grounds tester. It's so important. Some folks test grounds, multiple grounds after multiple grounds, and they're glorified ohms meters. Guess what? If you compare how theirs tests and then retest with ours, a lot of times ours will find the issue that theirs did not. So make sure, ask them what product are they using to test your grounds, or do it in-house, man. Just do it in-house. We train your guys to test grounds. They're really easy. A lot of utilities do it. Contractors, they do it. So what we're going to do is we got a magnet in a bottle. All right? And right here, this is going to prove your electric reality, and we're going to look at that magnetic field right here. And you can see that hum? That's a humdinger. All right, nice and smooth. And that you see some magnetic field, but watch what happens. We're going to form some loopage, which when you're using your TPGs, you do not ever want to have loopage. Coils. What happens? Coils, like a transformer, stepping up, step down, whatever. What happens is that increases, that magnifies the magnetic field. So when you're using your TPGs, if they're on a truck reel, man, make sure you get that truck reel, get your TPGs all the way out, lay them parallel on the ground, but get them off that truck reel. Don't allow those coils. Maybe your TPGs are too long. And you think that if you coil them and get some electrical tape and hang them, creating your EPZ, maybe that looks nice. No, don't want any coils. Don't do that.